So we are live. We are recording. We are back with episode 7 of the Greasy Alpha podcast with a really cool guest today. Someone who I have never met before, except for DMs on TikTok and Instagram. But this dude's pretty rad, and I just had to do an interview with you. So Jon Troglio, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for being episode number 7.
Thank you for hosting, man. This is the first podcast I've ever been on, so we're figuring it out. Yeah.
Heck yeah, dude. And it's the first one I've done so far where like I didn't know the person. The story was I was doom scrolling on TikTok and I saw your video doing something awesome. I think you were in a van in Chicago. You're in the same van right now. And I'm like, I wonder if this dude would like respond well to a message and do my podcast, and you absolutely were cool with that. And
totally open and down for whatever. That's why I've grinded for my, audience, and now I'm here, still.
I think that's what drew me to you, man. I was like, all right, man. So you got that, you have a free spirit mentality. Like when I like looked at your videos, right? You're like, first thing is like, you're doing van life, and you post so many videos of little like tweaks and changes to the video. And then I see you're out there, you're like, you got the one wheel stuff you're doing. And it's like, you got this real imaginative way about you where it's like, I want to make this thing a thing, and you go do it. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I've basically never grown up. It's kind of nice. Yeah.
I think imaginative is a better way, like that creative, like youthful spirit. Yeah.
Yeah. Other people say that, but I say lazy. It's kind of just an never-ending battle. Okay, just being lazy, because the way I do things is like the simplest, cheapest, least time consumed way of doing stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, so how old are you, and how long have you been doing the van life thing for?
I am 26 years old. I've been living in a van for 2 years now.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it gets easier every day. So
why does it get easier every day? Like what, I guess I don't fully understand. So elaborate on that.
Like year one, like the first 2 months into it, I was building it. I had to like put up insulation and figure out my electrical, Now I'm like figuring out where to hang my second camera and like where my toothbrush goes, and like, it gets easier.
Okay. Yeah. So at first it was like the real big stuff that you got to think about. And now it's like you could do like the fun stuff that still makes your life more efficient.
I don't have to carry as many like spare parts anymore because I know what I need, what I don't need, what breaks, what doesn't break.
And like, so you said you're in Alabama right now, but I saw a video of you in Chicago. So are you just like actively just driving around and traveling, or like how do you strategize where you go and like whatnot?
So I'm from Peoria, Illinois, which is close to Chicago. I have family in Chicago, so I try and visit there in the summers. Yeah. So, and
I saw you like for other places, right? Like what brought you to Alabama? Like what are you doing there right now?
I met a buddy at a one-wheel festival. I helped fix his board, and then met him. He has a place called Shredville. That is where I'm at right now, Shredville. We ride one wheels and just make cool stuff. So he lets me stay here. I kind of help work on he has a nursery. I help work on just whatever he needs. I got a golf cart going for him recently. I built a terrain park in the woods. He has a track around his house. He's got a pool I helped him dig last winter. Just whatever needs done, we're doing. So
yeah. So you went to the one wheel convention and you met this dude, and just like, I guess does that happen a lot as you're like on the road and exploring? Like you just like network, bullshit with people, and make friends.
The funnest things are Shred Fest. They're called Shred Festivals, but any van life festival, any public meetups on BLM land, ungatherings, it's all great. That's kind of how you stay sane. You don't have like a community, but you have people that also do the same thing as you. You just have to find them.
So it's like common mindset. You're all just kind of, but you're just bumping into each other, and it's not really coordinated.
Well, festivals are coordinated. You buy a ticket or you volunteer and you go.
But the overall lifestyle,
otherwise on the road,
it's like very Yeah, you all just.
But even on the road, you see a guy living in a vehicle. You're like, "What's up, dude? I'm also living in a vehicle." It's kind of nice.
It'd be so
I
weird if there was are there prude people in other vans where you're like, oh hey, what's up? I also do this, and they just like close the door and like it'd be weird
no,
not to
no,
like acknowledge your no, yeah,
never happens. No, everyone living in a van
yeah,
is like in a good mood, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. There's no
That
snooty
happens in
people on the
houses. That
block.
happens. That definitely
Same.
happens in houses.
That's what I was thinking. It's like a neighborhood of vans, but there's like grouchy people for some reason.
What's
uh, so
there's a place,
when
but
was
yeah.
your first thought of like I want to do the van? Like you're 26 now, so when did you have that idea initially?
Um, when I was 23, it all comes back to laziness. Um, so 18, I got into an apprenticeship, an electrician's apprenticeship. Uh, I worked my ass off through those 5 years. I went to school at night, sometimes working 80-hour weeks, doing what the contractor says. Uh, Figured out that sucks, so I started saving my money. I topped out, lost my lease, and my lease ended. I topped out and I got the 8,000 hours I needed for the apprenticeship in like all on the same week. So then I moved into my pickup truck and went west. So went to like Colorado, California, all that stuff, just in a pickup truck. And then I was like, okay, I don't want to go back to work. I made it pretty good living in a pickup truck, like it didn't really cost me anything week to week living in a pickup truck. So let's just move to a van. So sold the pickup truck, bought a van. Haven't really worked much since. It's been great.
Okay, that's awesome. So it was just spur of the moment. The van part or the truck part worked out so well. You're like, imagine if this was just a little more homely and bigger. You're like,
Yeah.
I could really do this like
And
full
you don't have
time,
to like
basically.
drive to a campsite. You can just, park downtown wherever you want to, I get away with parking wherever I want to in this thing. It's absolutely crazy.
Dude, that's great. And the van life thing's taken off so much. Like I've told a couple friends over the last week or so of like the idea that I'm doing this with somebody that I met, and they're like, "Oh, that's so cool!" And like they're like, "Is it this person? Is it that person?" And I'm like, "No, there's just a lot of like van life people out there now, like
Yeah.
documenting this, showing it off." But people think it's like cool, like from the outside looking in. I think a lot of people feel like they couldn't do it themselves, but people like love it, dude. I think it's cool as shit.
It's as America gets more expensive to live in, more and more people are going to move into vehicles, and that's just how it's going to go. There's like parking spots to cars in this country is 4-1, so like you can park wherever you want to. Like no one's going to give you a hard time if you just park there for a night and then leave the next morning. Like it's pretty chill.
That's a heck of a statistic. 4-1, 4-1
4 to
parking
1.
spots
Yeah,
to cars.
every single city ordinance needs like you need 10 parking spots for your Burger King or whatever at least, and they'll build twice that most times. It's insane. It's a huge waste of green space.
Now, do like in other countries, is this as big of a thing as it is here?
I don't know. I
Okay.
feel like no, because there's more affordable housing in other countries, and Americans are pretty crafty. They're gonna do whatever they want. Sorry about that.
And we're back. And we're back. All right, we're back. That's no problem. I can just edit that. I think it's so funny that you kind of started off. You're like, a lot of it's laziness, and then you were messaging me, and you're like, I forgot to charge in my plug in my laptop.
Well, it was plugged in, but I wasn't using the brick. It was just USB. So I ran to the bar and ran back to the middle of the field. We're good. We're good now.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you putting in the legwork to keep this thing going. But we were chatting about your dog, right? So your dog gets to like enjoy all this travel and do all that. I think that's awesome because like so many dogs just live like sedentary lives and don't get to like, yeah, dude. Like I mean, she has no clue how good she's got it. You said you got her on Craigslist?
No clue. She's absolutely spoiled rotten. She's smart as hell too. She'll jump on and do stand on her hands and she'll do whatever I tell her. It's crazy. But she's also a hunting
dog. You got her on
Craigslist? She's kind of got that in her too.
So like obviously if she sees like a squirrel or
gone.
Like a cat,
absolutely
like she's
gone.
probably like full.
Yeah. So okay, here's her. I've kind of had her off leash for a while, but but sometimes she runs away and I can't find her and she's at the neighbor. So I was like, we're not doing off leash anymore. So um, right now she's got Mouse, go in the field. Go ahead. Right now she's got about 8 links of like tractor chain that she drags along. If you can see that.
Oh, she just drags that, so it's not like hooked to anything. It's just
No,
is that like an obedience tool or something?
It keeps her like a little more mellow. She can't full sprint anymore. She's gonna have to. If she wants to go anywhere, she has to work at it. So she stays usually within the yard. When she has that on, it's great.
Interesting. How did you learn about? Is that a typical training method?
My neighbor in Peoria told me about it. They were like, I used to put a 10-foot long chain on my dog and have him chase me through the timber in the mornings, because otherwise they won't settle down. They'll just be going all day. At least this breed of dog is. So
it probably makes her legs jacked because she's dragging around some extra
she's
weight,
strong as heck
every
anyway.
day.
She's an absolute beast. It's insane.
Dude,
but she's also.
I was wondering. So
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. She also like curls down into this like little ball size, and she's actually a small dog. Like, it's kind of nice. So like, I don't care if she gets jacked. She's a small dog. She's not really.
Yeah. Nah. She's living the best life possible. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, my girlfriend and I did some traveling this year. We for a couple months where we didn't live. We would stay in Airbnbs, but we had everything in storage, and we were like working remote and traveling and stuff. And the dog came with us the whole time. And I'm like, dude, he's got it made. Like, he gets to explore these cool cities we're going to, and go to the mountains and all this. And it's like, I love that for a dog, because I always feel like, man, a dog doesn't realize the life that they don't get to live, because they don't know how it all works. They don't know. Right. They don't know what's out there.
They're just happy to be there.
You get to show it to them.
They're a forever thankful 2-year-old. It's awesome.
It's great, dude. You had you mentioned when we first started, when I was telling you kind of how I do this, you're like, oh, like your mom would find it cool if she saw the podcast. Like, were your parents pretty supportive, like, with you getting into the van life? Like, they think it's a cool thing?
Yeah. I mean, it makes me get to see them more, I think, because now I can like stay at my parents' house. I can stay at my grandparents' house. I can stay at whatever family house needs me there to work or take care of other people. It's nice. It frees up some time for me to, hang out with people I want to hang out with, So they appreciate that.
Did anyone try to talk you out of it?
Yeah, people tell me to get a job all the time. People are, it's how it goes.
So okay, so people, you're just like, yeah, it's just like a part of life now, basically.
Yeah, I mean, what's good of having a bunch of money in the bank if you're living in a van? Why you don't need that, I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but like, then you'd have to work and live in the van. It's kind of, I run a business out of this van. Like, it's not like I'm a lazy piece of shit. It's just not that, like, if I went to work as an electrician, I would make 1,000 times more than I'm making working for myself, but my expenses are so low that I can afford to do this, and it's a good time.
Yeah. So why not?
Why not?
All right, that's cool. So you got support, but also you got some people tell you not to do it. Is there one moment that's been maybe the most challenging or difficult thing to like deal with while on the road, while in the van?
The winters. The first winter I went snowboarding out west. Cold as hell, it was like -10 degrees. I didn't like insulate this thing very well. I moved into it really fast. So like, the beginning is when you're cold and hungry and it's stressful, but if you have good weather, it's the best time in the world, and you can control the weather. You just go where you want to go, You
can control the weather. Absolutely.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Is it like a daily practice to like, check the forecast and weather just to make sure you're not
stay aware of your surroundings?
Okay.
You get better at like the little things when you live in a van. You feed yourself better, you heat yourself better, you cook for yourself more regularly, because it's not like I have money to go out to eat, and then so it's like you got to cook, you got to plan, you got to get water every once in a while, you got to dump your tanks every once in a while. You got to collect your sun to use just enough electricity to make it to the next day, you know, so you don't freeze the next day. You got to save power. You got to save water. Um, but all of that is also in one
is
room,
the
and you can get lazy too once you figure all that out, which is another, you know, the next step of it, I guess.
yeah, is it a lot of the van is powered solarly,
Yeah,
correct?
all of it. I went off grid last year for 7 months. Um, but that was in the Southwest. You know, up north you got to stay plugged in to keep warm. Um, in Alabama, it's getting pretty cold. I've been plugged in quite often. Also, my 3D printer uses a lot of power, so I like plug it in for that. Um,
And so plugged in means like you have access to power the like all the stuff in the van, like laptop chargers,
yeah,
everything
just it's
via
shore
some
power.
sort
I
of
plug in an extension
tradition.
cord
Okay.
and flip the switch. It all goes to that rather than my batteries, and then it charges the batteries too. So,
Okay.
but I mean,
Oh, cool. Yeah,
now
that's
now
awesome.
I'm pretty good at it. So I usually I go like a week using my own power, and then I'll maybe plug in at a campsite or a buddy's house or wherever I can find a plug. Um, yeah, but and then if you don't, you just don't have
Have
power and you do other stuff. You know, if it
Do you-
rains,
have you ever have you go ahead. Go ahead.
if it rains, you know you get out of the rain. You just drive, power your batteries with the car, and get out of the rain. You know. Um,
And so like if you're doing minimal, like I know 3D printing takes a lot, some of your activity, but if you're doing like minimal stuff in the van, how long can you keep a charge for just via
just
solar?
forever, yeah. If you're just using like for lights and like running your sink and you know maybe your laptop every once in a while and phone, like you can go forever. I have a decent sized system now where I can go as long as I want to. You know, you can save as much power as you want to, but you just got to watch it. It's
Okay.
like one
All
of
right,
those
that's cool.
things. Like you don't think about it, but I'm like, okay, what power am I at every morning? You know, what do I need to do or not do?
It's almost it's kind of like eating for you. It's just like hey, like you got to just be conscious of your nutrients or food or water. Just like you got to be conscious of like electricity, like in the van. It's like it's part of
It's
living
part
every
of
day for
living.
you.
Yeah. Which that's the other thing.
Okay.
Like I'm standing next to my faucet, you know, 24/7. So like all I do is stand here and drink water, you know. All I do is fill up this bottle that's always empty. It's never full. I have to refill it constantly. Um,
And what do you do for water filtration? How does that work?
Nothing. Just I got a tank back here and
Okay.
a pump, and it goes to this sink.
All right. So where do you so how do you fill up or what do you do for getting water
Garden
into the
hose and
tank?
any spigot. Just it's like
Okay. Okay. All right.
yeah, yeah.
So pretty simple. Like yeah, it's not that kind. See, I'm overcomplicating
You are,
everything because
yeah.
I haven't like
That's the
dug
thing.
this deep
Like
into like
the more
how I
places you
do it.
get
But
water from, the
yeah.
more your immune system adapts to like, oh, okay, we're just gonna have all sorts of different water. We're not gonna get soft. We're gonna our immune system's gonna be beefy. You know, like when you eat food from all these people you're
Yeah.
visiting, you're like, you get more of a you get more nutrients. You get more in you. You get more out of it. When you eat bad food from places, you know, sometimes your
Yeah.
body's like, okay, I don't want to eat that anymore. Let's protect itself. You know.
Have you met any cool people in traveling that like maybe they weren't like one wheelers or shredders, they were just like good, nice people that were like, oh yeah, like come over for dinner or
Yeah,
come like do
it's
something
awesome.
with
Yeah.
us or like have you met people like that just
The
like
South has
yeah
taken great care of me. It's
any
awesome.
go ahead.
Um, California is awesome. Yeah.
Any like real memorable stories of like a person like just kind of like taking you in for a day or night or something like
Uh,
that?
yeah. Um, where's that? California. I was in California. Um, well, or New Mexico. Which one do you want to hear? New Mexico. I was working.
Yeah, both
New
potentially.
Mexico. I
Yeah.
was working at Los Alamos. Lanel, it's called, the nuclear laboratory where they built the atom bomb. But I was working 10-hour days as an electrician. So I was like, I didn't want to bring my dog into the plant. So I had this family. I met this family through Facebook. And they were like, let me watch your dog. Let me watch your dog. I was like, okay. But they had 3 cats and another big dog. And she was determined to take care of my dog just because she felt bad for me. I was living in a van, you know? Well, after a week of her doing it, she's like, I can't take care of this dog. this 20-pound little dog is running the house. You know, she was just an absolute monster. I'm like, don't worry about it. I told you this would happen. Like, you didn't have to watch her. Um, and she was like, no, I'm gonna keep watching her. I'm like, okay, if you like, we'll give it another week, I guess. But the next week, I was there. She cooked for me. She made us food, and she was still running the house. This dog was just, a absolute beast. Everything else was subs. Like it was not going well. Um, and then she was like, "Let me just watch your dog one more week till you get out of the van." And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm not getting out of the van. This is like a for sure thing." And then she was like, "Oh, well, maybe you can just take your dog back then, you know." Uh,
Yeah, she's like thinking like, oh yeah, I'll give you a little bit of cushion. She's like, I don't
she
think she
didn't get
got
it, but
it. I don't
she
think she
was so
totally
nice, and it was
understood.
just
Yeah.
I tried telling her, but some people are they just want to help, you know. If they don't have anyone to help, they're gonna help the competent person in the van, you know. That's the thing. I don't need many people's help. It's
So that's
just
kind of
like I tell people, like
yeah. You're not like you're not
yeah.
yeah. You're not like not there. I don't know how
I,
to. You seem like you get it, and you're like choose like this is like you're like I enjoy this. Like you're an electrician. Like you're a very
yeah,
capable
like
human.
I like that's the thing. I tell them like I usually do side jobs or help people in any way I can. You know, fix their cars or fix their lights or laptops or whatever. You know, so it's like I try and get back, but if they don't have anything to fix and they're just helping me, it's like here I am, just a a homeless bum. You know.
What about the story? Homeless bum. I'd say home, maybe home. Well, no, you're not homeless. You got a home and maybe
Homely
bum. I don't know,
challenged,
dude. Bum.
residentially challenged, I guess. I don't know. Some people call it.
I think that's the right one. Yeah. What about the story from California? What was that
Um,
about?
California, just a bunch of good people take. Like, if I would have asked for anything, they would have given it. You know, so it's like, but there's a lot of wealth, a lot of people like me. It's just a huge mix, and you wouldn't believe what people um, give and take. It's crazy. Um,
What do you mean by take? What do people take?
well, some people are, you know, not good people, and they stay plugged in for too long and don't clean
Okay.
up. And that's the thing: pack it in, pack it out. You try and, but you got to watch for people. People are people. You know.
Do you ever let other people stay in your van? Like just for like an like what I mean, if you're just
Friends,
trying to help
yes.
someone out.
Uh, yes. So I picked up a hitchhiker in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Um, I was traveling with a girl, and I was like, if you make it to Park City, Utah, I will take you across the desert. And he was like, all right, bet. And that was like a week away. I was like, there's no way he's gonna walk from Colorado to Utah to Salt Lake City in like it was a week. Well, the son of a bitch made it. And then he was like, sick, so you're giving me a ride. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm giving you a ride. I did say I'd give you a ride. And this guy, his name was Zane from Maine. And he walked all the way from Maine to Florida to Colorado. And that's where I met him, in Colorado. He's like, I'm trying to get to California. That's where my buddy's at. And I was like, you're not walking across the desert. No way. He's like, yeah, I need to find a ride. Otherwise, I'm probably going to go back east. And I was like, okay, yeah, if you meet me in Park City or Utah, I will drive you across the desert. Well, I stopped traveling with the girl in Salt Lake City, pick him up, drive to the salt flats. Okay, the salt flats are just absolute. There's nothing there, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty good at sleeping outside. I won't be a bother." And I'm like, "All right, sweet. We're going to the salt flats for a night before we drive across the desert the next day." Um, he slept in a hammock. That's how he was able to fit everything on his back. You know. Well, there's no trees at the salt flats. You know, so he asked if he could sleep in the van. I'm like, dude, I don't know you. Okay, everything I own's in here. Like, he was 18 in college. Like, he was hustling like me, but like he also lived an extra level of outside that I'm not living at, you know. So I made him sleep under the van that night. But
So
what do you do?
I mean, listen, when you're gonna take under the van over not
Exactly.
under the van at that point, you know. I mean, this, yeah. So wait, you meet him in one city, ask for a ride. You're not sure because you don't maybe get the best vibes, and then you're like, if you actually end up in this place that I'm going,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
trust
yeah.
you at that point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
and he made it
Yeah.
there. Holy cow! But I mean, otherwise, he checked out. Besides needing to sleep in the
Yeah, he
van.
was cool. He was sweet. Yeah, good dude. You know, he slept on my floor on the way to California. But what do you do?
Yeah, but it's like it's during the day. You're driving. It's not like middle of the night in
Yeah, yeah,
Salt
yeah,
Flats. You're like, this is
yeah.
a Netflix
At the
movie
end of it, he
happening
was a
right now.
dependent, and at that point in time, the van was not ready to house two people. You know, like I was like 7 months into van life. It was crowded. You know, I was stressed. You know, out of money. Now I got a little money coming in, and everything's put away. So I'd be more than happy to do it now. But yeah, at the time I was like, I can't, I can't help you anymore, dude.
Hey,
So,
yeah, no, that's
but
cool
yeah,
though.
you
That's cool.
help
You met people. You help
just
somebody.
a
That's
little
good.
bit. You don't have to help them like all the way. You just as much as you're comfortable with, as much as I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, because and yeah, people
Yeah,
help you too. So it's kind of like goes around, comes around, type of thing. Do you? Interesting question. When you have you ever gotten
a
pulled
few
over?
times. Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you a story, I guess.
It
Um,
Go for
okay,
it.
New Hampshire this summer. Um, it was called the Rainbow Gathering. I don't know if you're familiar. Um, okay,
I haven't heard
it's
that.
a not sanctioned gathering, so it's like just a bunch of total hippies get together in the middle of the woods to live a life free of consumerism and you know and stress. I guess I don't know. I'm not a spokesperson for them, but that was the idea that I got in my head when I went. Well, you get off of like New Hampshire state land, and then you go to BLM land or no National Forest land, which is where they gather. And pulling in, there's this huge hill where everyone pulls in. Cop at the bottom of the hill. He's like, "Hey, you're going." He pulls me over, says I was going 35 in a 15. I'm like, "Okay, well, there's 10 cops lying around the corner searching every single person's car going into the Rainbow Gathering." Uh, yeah, you get pulled over all the time. Not all the time. I really don't get pulled over. That was like an event where they think everyone was a dick, so therefore everyone got pulled over that they had a reason to get pulled over. But most of the time, no, you don't get pulled over.
Yeah.
No one wants to search a
Any
giant
cool
van.
interactions?
Uh,
Yeah, like any cool interactions where a cop's kind of like, all right, like this is
yeah,
fine,
a lot
whatever.
of people call on my dog. They're like, "Hey, there's a dog in the car. You know, she might see something looking out the window, barking out the window." Cop comes, checks it out. You know, they might stick around till I come back. I'm out trail riding or whatever. A few times now, cops have been like, "Hey, your dog.
Okay, okay.
Someone called about your dog. I checked on her. She's fine." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And then one of them gave me a tip. They're like, I'll have to say something if you park here, but if you park down the road, you'll be good." You know, um, most of them are nice. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's why I figure like you're not causing
No,
problems.
and
Like
then
you
most of the
just
time
everyone
I
will be
pull
cool.
in late, leave early. So no one gets upset about that.
Yeah. Okay. So I had probably have a million more questions about the van, but the other thing I think is really dope that you do is you're like you do some crazy shit on a one wheel,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty balancedly challenged. I don't do balance very well, so I am amazed by people riding it. But you grind on like poles and stuff with it.
Yeah.
How did you get into one wheeling? Like what is that about?
It's really a great adventure vehicle, dude. It's like small. It's half the size of a bike. It weighs half as much as a bike, and you can go like on my big one. I can go like 20 miles with it on the street. That's a whole city. That's a whole like 2 hours worth of exploring on that thing. And then the small one I can do tricks. You can whip it like a snowboard. It's great. Just events, festivals. I
Was
bought
that
one for
was that
cheap, and I'm always into the newer technology. I like toys. So
was that pre van life or was that already van
I
life was
bought
already
it when I had the
happening?
truck, and I was like, damn, I should have bought this sooner because
Okay.
it's awesome. I've only been one wheeling now for 2 years, so um, yeah. But I've been riding skateboards and snowboards and wakeboards and surfing for since my childhood, so it translates pretty easy. No one really has taken it as far as I have with like the T Park or grinding as that style of rails. People drop and do some other crazy stuff, but it's such a new niche sport that
Yeah, that was my question of like
yeah, it, it also doesn't look
yeah, no, it's just like you riding it's one thing, but the way you're able to like grind on it, do tricks with it, I would have never thought that's a thing, but you do it. And obviously you had the backroid and other boarding
Yeah.
activities. So I guess it just kind of,
It's
it's a board
Yeah, you
with
might
one
as well
wheel.
trick it.
And
Yeah.
why can't you do tricks with it?
Yeah. It doesn't look as
Yeah.
cool, you know, because you're not going as fast, and it's like you can only do so much. You can't do like 50/50s or um, board slides, but you can do nose slides, tail slides. You know, every other combinations there. It's like you know, snowboarding in the '80s or wakeboarding in the '90s. You know, it's just gonna take some time before people really start whipping them. You know, people can do. We were hitting pretty consistent 360s off jumps and flat kickers, but if you had a big enough kicker, you like people are going to send a 720 this year, I'm sure, 540 this year. So
Are there big names in the trick game of one wheeling that you're familiar with?
yeah, but like there's a race every year that One Wheel holds called Race for the Rail. But it's, you know, small. These boards now are going like 30 miles an hour. So they're racing going 30 miles an hour downhill, like down ski slopes and stuff. It's kind of wild. I've got out of the racing because it's too fast and scary, and my cheap boards can't keep up. But tricks, you can go as slow as you want. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to go as fast as a snowboard to land a front nose. You know, you can just kind of hop on, hop off. It's kind of nice. It's low risk when you do it right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you've had at least one or two memorable wipeouts, but you know, it just comes with the territory, I suppose.
yeah, I broke my arm in May. Bro, I dislocated it from the arm to the other arm. What is that? The elbow. Dislocated at the elbow was the thing. That was rough. But I was messing around. I wasn't just like tricking. Now
Yeah.
I feel like a athlete. Like I'm just tricking every day for an hour. I'm not dropping stupid stuff. I'm like actually, you know, training, locking in, getting tricks better and better, you know. So
Yeah. Hey, just quick technical. When I look at your video, it's grainy just because that's how it produces it for
okay.
me. Actually, is your lighting okay on your side? Like, can you see your face pretty clear?
Probably not. I just shut the door and we lost the natural light. It was the sunset. But here.
Yeah, I was curious. Do you have a light
Yeah.
you could toss on?
Chink. That better? A little better?
Yeah, that's good. That helps. Okay, cool. So, do you also travel with the surfboard too?
Yeah, I have a hydrofoil. It's called. Have you seen those?
So is that a what's it called? Skimboard?
Hydrofoil is the one with the wing
which one is that?
underneath, and it's like you're flying above the air. It's got the mast in the middle.
Oh, yes, I do
it's
know.
in
what
my
that is.
door. Right
Okay,
here.
I didn't see. I just
pieces there. But
okay.
if I
and that's because that's a remote thing, right? Yeah.
but I can just catch a wave with it. Yeah.
So even without turning it on,
There's
you
no
could
motor.
still
It's
ride
just
with
a
it?
wing under the water. So, if that makes sense.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought those things were powered by like something electric.
Some
I
of
guess
them are.
just,
Those are called e-foils.
Yeah.
But the ones that just have a wing, you need like a wind or a parachute to like, you know, propel you, or just a big enough wave. I just built a wake winch, so I need to test that out. You know, have you heard of a wake winch before?
I believe I saw your video
Yeah,
about the wake winch.
Yeah, so
didn't you make it out of an old one wheel?
A Vesk, it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I put a big battery in it, cut up a few frames, and it'll pull you on like, you know, skimboarding is great, but I needed to do need to get it going with the hydrofoil. But it's cold. I don't know. I need to go somewhere. I can do anything anywhere, you know.
Yeah, well, you got some cold months to figure that technology out, but that's what, like my next question is like the ideas you have for making stuff, doing things. Does it just come to you one day and you're like, all right, time to make that?
Well, yeah, and it's
you
like
have time
when
on
you
your
collect
hands,
when you collect enough parts, you're like, okay, I guess I got enough parts to make this thing now. Yeah. When I came to Billy's, I was like, well, I got this old one wheel. I could buy a Vesk, and he's got a GT battery, so it's like let's throw it all together and a little bit of paracord on the spool, and that's all you need, you know. So,
I saw you had a little like saltwater erosion problem. Then you seem like you fixed that too. Then right, you put like a waterproof box around
it's
it.
ready to rip. and I got a waterproof remote too, so I should be able to like hold the handle and then hold the remote too, and like have it pull me and have like no one else there. That'll be great. I don't have to like rely on anyone. Um, yeah. So I'm leaving. I'm leaving
Yeah.
Treadville tomorrow. I don't know
Okay.
if I'll hit the beach or the mountain, but um, even in the snow it would be good too. So it might just be winter for a bit. We'll see. So
So beach right now, you could head down to like
yeah,
or
I
like
could,
the
but
Panhandle area of
I'm gonna go
Florida. I guess
west.
where you're at. Yeah.
Maybe a Louisiana beach or Corpus Christi or Baja. I just got to go west, find some warm weather, and um,
Yeah. You're leaving
just
tomorrow and you don't
west.
know
Yeah.
where, and that's, I mean, how many people wish they could experience that? Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
need to
good.
find warm weather, and I have some personal projects the van has to clean up. That'll take me a week to do. So yeah, but after that, San Diego
Okay, all right, awesome.
mountain. I have a snowboard too. I like snowboarding. Might go to Arizona snowboarding, New Mexico, Taos. Might go there. I don't know. Just wherever the road takes me, man.
I love San Diego. It's a
How have you
beautiful
been?
place.
I want to go. I want to go surfing there so bad. So
Yeah, I hope you do get out there this year and you get some surfing in, and maybe we could talk again, because that's pretty much the first place I really, really surfed, and I just like fell in love with it. And I think maybe that's why I love
yeah,
all of San Diego. I think it's just awesome. And yeah, now anytime I don't actively surf, I don't own a board, but anytime I'm in a situation where it exists, I'm like, I gotta go do that, like at least a little bit. And
where are
it's
you?
so much
You're
fun.
from Florida, right? Where?
Yeah. I'm yeah, I'm in Florida. I was born in Virginia, lived in Illinois, in Crystal
Oh,
Lake,
wow.
Illinois, if you're familiar with
They
that
have a
for a little
sweet
bit.
cable park. My aunt's from there. Um,
Okay, okay. And then we moved to Florida
nice.
in 2003. So I've just been a Floridian since 2003 and
Okay.
32
Okay.
now. But I didn't grow up surfing. Like I didn't have board life experience. It was just like 4 years ago. I just took a random trip out west with no return flight, and I was like, I went to Seattle, took a train to Portland, and then took a train to San Diego,
Oh wow.
and then took a surf lesson, and I was like in love with it
Yeah.
immediately. Yeah.
I love the West Coast. I went to the East Coast this summer just to check it out. Never been, but I'm stoked to go to the West Coast now. I cannot wait to get back. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I think you're gonna have a great
yeah,
time out there, dude. It's gonna be awesome. What talk to me about like eating, like when you're like the eating part of your life. I know every question I ask you
sure.
is just like a normal answer, but I am curious about like
Okay.
cooking and like grocery shopping, keeping stuff cold. Like how would you
I
describe your like
cook
food
every
life?
meal. I don't like spending money. I don't like going to fast food or fancy restaurants. So this is my wood stove. Keeps me warm. I can cook coffee on top of it. Um, this is my. I have 3 burner oven right here. 3 burner stove, and then there's an oven underneath. Um, Cook every meal. Oh, and I have a fridge. This is my fridge right there. I make a lot of burritos. I make a lot of breakfast food: egg, sausage, bacon. Yeah, what else I got? I just started like cooking like seriously. I got some like cilantro and onions and um, peppers. I've
Okay.
been throwing in the
He's in
burritos.
business
Yeah.
now, folks. He's got cilantro and
Um,
onions.
yeah. Eat a lot of milk, cookies. I got snack food, just whatever I'm hungry for. I got that's food and that's food right there. So um, I bake brownies. I cook pizzas in my oven. Like I got whatever I want. I don't have a microwave, but I'm getting with burritos. You just throw them on the oven in a big pot and heat them up. Like it's pretty nice. Um,
Yeah.
I mean it's
Yeah. Okay. So it's just a
yeah. You
basic.
just
It's just it's not that complicated,
no.
really. At the end of the day, it's just in a smaller container than we're used to
My
seeing
sink,
it in.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing: you're sitting there doing nothing. Middle of the day. You're like, okay, I'm hungry. So you go cook everything. You eat, and then you put everything away, and then you're like, okay, now what do? You don't want to sit in your dirty kitchen in your only room that's where you cook stuff, So you're like, what do I do now? Well, you clean everything up, and then it leads you to be more productive. You don't leave a mess anywhere, If that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah. Because
no one leaves their kitchens clean.
Yeah, because your office is your kitchen
Yeah.
and your bedroom.
So
Yeah.
Um, it leads me to meal
Okay.
prep more.
Uh, have you?
So
Yeah, yeah, and just be thoughtful, I guess, of what you need. And the best part is, if you need to go to the
yeah,
grocery
you're just
store, you
right
just
there, and
drive
then you
there.
don't have to like go home. I only drive one
Yeah,
way. I don't drive. I don't drive back.
yeah,
That's
yeah. It's not like I'm gonna go to the grocery store, get stuff to cook, and then come home. You're like, I'm gonna go to the grocery
and then
store and
go
then
to
cook
go to
at the
the
grocery
park or
store.
beach 2 minutes away and then cook it. Like you can keep going that direction. It's very
Yeah,
it's so nice.
that's
It's so
phenomenal.
lazy. Oh my gosh. Never the more I get accomplished, the more lazy I am, I swear. The more time I have to like drink and then, sit in the parking lot of a bar and pass out. Like it's
Do you have some fun? Like, do you like have some drinks like
oh
from
yeah.
like as much as you can, or like
Anytime
as
anyone
much as it's
offers,
enjoyable for you? Yeah.
anytime, I'm not driving, anytime the van's in one spot, it's like why not? You know. It's such a drug.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. I
No,
wasn't
I'm a
sure if
little
it.
frothed up right now.
Yeah.
Drug culture in America is
Go
a
ahead.
little out of control. I wish we were all a little more productive, like myself, but I guess, I guess that's not the case.
Yeah, but not. But it's fun. I mean, people like having drinks. I wasn't sure if this was like a
Nah,
sober journey for any reason or nothing. But it's not, man. You're having a
the
good time.
the
You're
first
not
summer I
not holding back at
was,
all. That's great.
I was by myself and my dog. I was working out and eating every day. That was all I had to do. Because I was in the middle of nowhere. I was able to drive my truck to the middle of nowhere, but figure some stuff out, and then you come back to society, and you know,
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Let's see. Have you ever run out of gas
mm,
before?
no, 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 not in this vehicle.
Hell yeah. Don't do that. Yeah, not in
But
this
my
vehicle.
van is pretty. It's a diesel. And I've put every new part in this thing that I can in the last 2 years. Like it's kind of crazy how much how much mechanic work I've done, how much stress it's been just the blowing out the turbo hoses and um just oil coming from everywhere. This thing's just a mess.
How did you acquire the van?
Uh,
Like, I mean,
yeah,
probably simple
Facebook
answer. Probably just went online,
Marketplace.
found
Yeah,
something. But was there any cool story
it
behind
has
it?
200,000
Okay.
miles. When I bought it, now it has 230,000 miles.
Was it
So
van
it
life at
was
all at that point, or was it just this
it was
regular
yeah,
van?
it was finished, but it was an awful design. It had the queen size bed like lengthwise, and that was it. And then a wood stove in the middle and an air conditioner up top, which is still there. The air conditioner is still there, but the bed was turned like long ways, and then there was a divider in between the seats and living space. So it was like just not functional at all. You couldn't hold anything. So I gutted it and then remodeled it, threw it all back in. So I, there's a
Okay.
yeah,
All right. That's
there's a
awesome.
van build on my YouTube. I think I'm on episode like 30 now, 20 something now on my Instagram. But it starts off on my YouTube where I'm.
Okay.
It starts off on my
I didn't
YouTube
check
where I'm
out.
just like freezing cold in the middle of Illinois trying to build this thing. It's kind of funny.
I'll have to watch the YouTube. I've watched a lot of the TikTok and Instagram. I didn't go to the
Yeah,
YouTube yet, but I'll
when
check that out to see some more of
when
the
longer
finer
format
details. But
stuff
yeah.
made sense, I was putting that out each week. It was good. So
I mean, you do a good job at making a lot of content. Like, I feel like you got a lot of stuff. Like, do you find better success in the short form versus long, or what is your
more
strategy or
people
thought on
engage
that?
with it when it's cut into 60 seconds. So I'm just gonna keep doing it. That's how it's going. Just like podcasts cut up are great. Because I don't. I find it hard to myself to listen to a full podcast unless I really like the person. But I'll watch a short of a podcast if they have something good to say. Just yeah,
Yeah, that's my thought because it's brand new. So it's like I try to get the best clips posted because I don't expect anyone to give me an hour of their time yet. But in time,
yeah.
people
I
will. So it's like
I
for the
want
time
to
being,
make
do what
longer
works.
format, but I want to make like good longer format with other people and have some story and like a like a Seinfeld esque show or like a mockumentary type of thing would be just great. Um, but if I had the time and money and people to do it with. So right, right now I'm
Yeah.
just
And you seem to have a pretty good sense of humor. Like just as I've gotten to know you a little bit, like and you mentioned Seinfeld, like did you grow up following any like stand-up
Oh,
comedians or like
dude,
comedic
I
entertainers that
love
you were
stand up
big fans
comedy.
of?
I dabbled in, I went to a few open mics, when I was like 20, 19 ish. It's good stuff. Um, yeah, I haven't seen that side of you come out yet. I feel like you should be razzing me or something about, I don't know, getting a job, but you seem just like a nice
Nah, it's I
barbecue dad to me, you know? I don't see the stand up coming out yet, but
okay, that's so funny. Yeah, just roast me like that. It's because I want to. I'm trying to put the best
oh, but
product
it's
of
your
you out,
podcast. Who
So it's
cares?
like
Yeah.
I think that I yeah, but
Okay.
I gotta ask you questions. So it's I don't get to do it here as much, but it's fun because I'm entertained by listening to you, and it's like I throw my little jabs in here and there, but for the most part, it's like I just think
Sure.
this is
Yeah, and that
interesting. So
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I'm
I
uh,
want
yeah. I'm always comedically thought focused and stuff like that. But like these things, like this is something like really cool to me. Like this other dude I had in the show, he's ran like 7 ultra marathons on 7 continents, and I'm like, it's more, yeah, it's like serious. It's kind of cool. So,
Oh, you're
yeah.
good.
Sorry, I haven't
Did
been
that guy
funnier
have a
for you,
sense of
John.
humor though? Did that guy was he
Yeah, he does some stand up too. Interesting enough, he was on 80. He was on hour 81 of an 82-hour fast. So he was a little zoned out
that
at
guy's
times,
crazy. Oh my god.
but he was
Okay.
functioning pretty well.
Damn.
Yeah, he was following that trend. So you did some open mics. I think that's cool because it was like this is supposed to have some comedic level to it. And I tell people sometimes I'm like, it's just for like really interesting people or like comedians
Sure.
that I've
Yeah.
done comedy with. So you've actually done comedy. So
Yeah.
you
I'm
check the box of
also a
both, which is actually
rapper
pretty sweet for me.
and play guitar now, and
Okay.
a little bit of everything. It's nice. Um,
What was your experience with stand up comedy like? Did you enjoy it? Did it go
it
well?
was
Tell me about it.
fun. It was a lot of work, writing jokes. I wasn't good at like English or anything, but I could like put together some puns or like some misdirections. Uh, I did it in up north, and the stand up comedy crowd up there, everyone was like kind of butthurt about my jokes. I don't know. Maybe I was a little too deep on the on the context side of it, but
It's all it's
uh,
Yeah, sometimes people just are in a bad mood or
yeah,
just suck as humans. I don't know. Like it's like I don't know what they expected, but it wasn't it. But I don't know. Give it. How many times did you do it?
yeah,
Like
two or
4 or 5
four,
times, maybe, or
three, four
how many
times,
reps
yeah.
did you get
And
of
then
it?
I had my rap career kind of blended in nicely because it was funny
Yeah.
rap. It wasn't like real rap. So few house shows, few open mics. Um,
All right. Well, maybe give it a shot again this year, man. You've got so much more. I feel like weapons in your belt now that you've done all this. Like I feel like it'd be even easier for
I'm
you, like getting back on
yeah,
stage and
I'm leaving here. Well, I don't know. Also, my probably attention span's pretty small too now. I don't think I have the capacity to write as good of a joke as I could. Maybe I could. I don't know. But it's funny. I'm leaving here with like everything in the van
you got.
fixed. Everything in the van is working. I can literally do whatever the hell I want to now. So like I have a music studio, 3D printer, business, surfboard, snowboard, skateboard, paddleboard, everything. So I'm just I like to have freedom to just do whatever I want to. So I think I just did stand up comedy because I
Yeah,
was like
you
my
got it now.
sister
You're up.
dared me, and I don't know, we were writing an album too. I guess I don't know.
I'll tell you what. I think just the way you feel life and stuff. I think, yeah, maybe if you tried it again now, you might something about it would hit a little different too. Because it's, I don't know. There's like, especially when you get some laughs and whatnot, like it actually does like impact you like
Yeah,
physically, emotionally. It's a cool
yeah,
feeling when it actually like
yeah.
works out well. So, and you got so many cool stories now from this. Like I'm sure you don't even got to write anything. Just go like let it rip for like 5 minutes
Yeah.
and see what happens.
When I'm at events like that, people do listen.
Who
They're like, "Who? This guy's interesting enough," And I'm like, I realize that. Like, I have the room for a bit if I wanted it. So, yeah.
and I'm like a nice barbecue dad. And they just have to listen to me because I
I don't know.
assert dominance and I'm
Why'd you
cooking the
get into
food.
stand up here?
Why did I get into stand up, bro? I don't know, man. I guess I'm not funny enough, but I always thought it was cool. I always thought it was an admirable trait since I was a kid. that like people could make people laugh. Because I
Yeah.
grew up in like a funny Italian family,
Nice.
and we had a lot of those older folks, and I just wanted to do it since I was like in fifth grade, and I was too cowardly to do it until I was 30 years old. So I just waited a long time and finally was like, dude, just go do
Yeah.
it.
Most of the
It's not
time
a
you
big
don't see
deal.
these
And then
people ever
it's just
again, you know?
grown the last 3 years, and I'm still yeah, most of the time. And yeah, it's been 3 years. There's a lot of ups and downs. A lot of times it doesn't work. A lot of open mics people don't go to, but when you get a good show, you get a good weekend, you get the crowd on your side. Like it's a ton
Well,
of fun. It
yeah.
just like gives you like a
Yeah.
high you can't really
I'm
catch
assuming
in other
you've seen
places.
improvement too, otherwise you wouldn't be at it. Like it's one of those things where you can put in work and then get results too. So it's nice. I mean stuff
There's always
yeah.
improvement, and sometimes it's small, and sometimes it's like really small. But you're like, at least it's there, and I'm conscious of it, so I'm able to see the stuff that I'm like not doing well. When you watch other comedy and you're like watching someone really good who's like famous, and you're like the way they're doing something is like I can't do that yet. So it just keeps reminding you when you watch yourself and you're
Oh.
like, I think that was good. Then you watch theirs and you realize it was really good. You're like, where's the gap and what do I got to work on? So yeah, it's like, and then I watched my really old videos from 3 years ago and I want to throw up. I'm like, dude, what were you doing?
Yeah, but if you have
Who did you have a favorite comedian growing up?
Bo Burnham, Bo's great.
Okay. All right, cool.
Norm Macdonald is hilarious. Dimitri Martin, yeah. Just one-liners are great. If you write a
All
good
right.
joke,
Hell
it's
yeah,
gonna
dude.
stand up to time. It don't matter like it don't matter on the climate there. So
Those guys get some good one-liner references still to this day. Like Norm, maybe the best at it. Kind of like I'm not a great one-liner guy. I tend to tell some wordy experiences and stories that I punch and tag along the way. So I wish
yeah,
I was better
well,
at short
but
one-liner
that's
stuff. I
where
just
that's where like a
haven't been able to flex
personality
the
helps
muscle
you out
just yet.
more. You can decide what you want for yourself and care about that in the story. And yeah, it's kind of nice going both ways.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I try. You just gotta try stuff out. That's why I was interested in this. Like I could tell you try stuff out.
yeah,
Comedy's about trying stuff
open to
out all the
anything.
time.
Yeah.
Like you'll pretty much never catch me doing the same thing week after week. Like I gotta try like a new thing every week and see how it goes. Just it's fun,
Even
even if
if
it
it
hurts
hurts,
sometimes.
yeah.
What Yeah, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes you drive a half hour to go to do something, and then you wait 2 hours for your turn, and then 5 minutes goes by and it goes awful,
Yeah.
and then you got to drive half hour back home, and you're like,
That's
God, this
that's
sucks.
that's probably what
Sometimes,
that's
it
probably what
happens. It
got me.
happens.
That's probably I was like, this isn't worth my time. I'm into high value hobbies here where I can get the most out of it.
Yep.
But yeah, comedy is selfless.
It's tough to make the
Yeah.
time make sense. Yeah,
But
it's
you
really
get
interesting.
more value
But
as you do it.
any
So it's where the more time you put into it, the more it's
so
worth it.
far, yeah. I mean, I
It's like anything.
absolutely. And most importantly, with everything in life, you got to have fun, and it's still really fun for me.
Then
So
yeah,
I don't
keep
have
doing
any
it.
reason
Yeah.
to stop. So yeah, this might be. I mean, this could be the first conversation of many, and one day I might be a famous comedian, and you're like, dude, we did the podcast.
That was
One
that
day,
was
like
that
that
was
was
that was
dope.
day
Like
one I met you, dude. Those Tuesdays.
yeah, young comedian, young fan life dude, and it was just like this to me is the internet in a nutshell. Like I can see a guy on TikTok doing tricks on a one wheel in
That's
a
it.
van, and I'm a comedian with nothing else to do, and I'm like, I can
Well,
ask
yeah,
this guy
why
to do my
wouldn't we make a
podcast.
podcast?
This wouldn't existed. Yeah,
Entrepreneur is my title.
yeah,
By the way,
yeah.
not just homeless bum. Okay, it's
When I make the clip or the video or the picture for the cover, it will say
there you go.
entrepreneur. Maybe van entrepreneur.
I do have a
If
business.
that's all right. Yeah.
I sell one wheel parts. It's called
What's the
Ride
business?
DIY. I have an Etsy, and that's it because Etsy takes care of most things. I just have to like ship the parts. It replaces the stock one wheel sensor. I have a few products, but my main product is a sensor delete kit for one wheels. So it replaces a stock sensor with a magnet that you put on your foot. You put this on your shoelace,
Okay.
and then you put that on the board. It sticks to a board. It sticks to, and then if you're tied to the board, your board's gonna stay on. It helps land tricks. It's great, and for light riders, it's also great. So
Is that a commercialized product that you've made less expensive, or is that your idea?
My shitty idea that I have produced. Other people have come up with it, but it's kind of impractical. You got a magnet flopping around on your foot all day. I mean, it goes back together pretty well. Like I've cut the corners and made it seamless, but yeah. It's
Yeah, but
great
still, I would
for
have
riding
never
one
thought
wheels.
that's a
Like
thing.
I don't have
that...
to buy a sensor. I can just 3D print a magnet, 3D put a magnet on my shoe and it works. Which, let me find a magnet shoe.
So you sell one wheel parts that you can like you can like make them in the van. You can shoot like fire them off with a 3D printer and just like come up with stuff that other. Oh,
Basically, yeah. It's
okay.
my business is anything custom. Like if people want to contract me out, I'm kind of a handyman. I can make whatever. That's it's kind of my resume. I can make whatever custom. All of my things are hung up. Like all of these are custom mounts that have a purpose in my life. They're all whatever you can think of. You can pay me to do basically. So one
I'll
one
keep that in mind.
wheels.
I'm sure there's something I need
Yeah,
made.
that's
that I
the
just,
thing. People don't know people don't know they need a custom thing until they see it. So I got to come up with the things to see. I gotta make some stuff. So one wheels,
Yeah.
vans, small spaces. Electrical work.
How has social media treated you? Like you seem like you got like a pretty decent following now on Instagram. Like, when did that start to become a little bit more recognized or
This
noticed?
year,
Like you
this
seem to be right
summer,
now.
I put out the video of me in New York showing my van off, or how much do I pay for rent, and it's just been like 2 reels that have blown up that have gotten me a following. But before that, I was putting out like 10-minute videos, not getting any views. So, yeah, it's kind of just what the algorithm. It's up to the algorithm.
That's cool.
It's not really up to me. I've made some. I feel like the cooler stuff I made was in the past. Not now. But
did you go into this with the thought of like, hey, this is content people would want to see, or did someone push you into like doing that because it was so dope?
If I make something, I usually want to put it online. Because if I make something, it's usually like custom. It's something that no one's ever made before. So I want to show it off. And that's what I was doing when I was like, 16, 18, 20. But not after not having a job, I was like, let's just post to the internet, let's try and get something going here. Let's make some shorts. Let's make some things that I can look back on in a year and be like, okay, cool. I did that. I parked in downtown New York. I parked on Central Park West for a week and and just goofed off, like it's cool to look back on that. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I know you like to cook for yourself, but do you ever like to try to get a local food when you go to a city, just to like, say you got pizza in New York or stuff like that?
Also, I travel a lot to meet my family, friends. So like my mom met me in New York. We had some good eats, music festivals, that people bring their own food, people cook their own food, people, yeah.
Okay, so you'll try stuff out. That's cool. Let's see. So we're closer to an hour, and I told you this how long I didn't realize how long we've been talking. But dude, I enjoy the conversation a lot, and I think this is fun. And I hope if you're down sometime this year again, maybe when you're in like San Diego or something, we'll do it again. And now that I know you, maybe I'll be funnier next time.
Dude,
and we can
funniest
bullshit more.
parts of my life are when people just giving me shit for like not being up to par, and now I'm up to par and I'm like, well, this isn't fun, so
I think there's like a human, like if we're together, it's easier to make fun of somebody. I think because like I don't know, you get right, but also like to get to know you like over the internet. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna roast you right away because genuinely, I think what you're doing is cool. I know you're like, I know how what you do can be perceived by people as a but I
Yeah.
personally think it's fucking awesome. So it's
Well,
hard to roast you for what your
don't think of it
decisions
as
when I'm asking
roasting.
you
Just
to be
like,
on my
I don't
podcast because it's
know,
cool.
constructive criticism. I love constructive criticism, dude. Tell me if I'm, doing anything that you don't like.
Okay, next time don't click the pen
Did I
endlessly in
do
the
that? When did I
background.
grab a
That would
pen?
be one piece of constructive. There was one point you were clicking a pen at some point earlier, and
Yeah,
I'm
just
like,
yell at me,
just
dude. I
it'll be
don't care. I'm
fine.
a
Like,
child. I am a child.
we'll get by
So,
that. Okay. Well, permission accepted. I'll next time I'll be a little bit more
cool.
forthcoming with my
Thank you.
thoughts
I mean, my
as it's
audio.
happening. But no, I mean this
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
awesome. I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
What's
No,
up?
my equipment wasn't up to par for a bit, so it's like
No,
I'll be
I'll.
better next time too. So, you know.
Well, it's your first podcast, and I feel like anything else you've tried to do while you're vanning it up, you figure out how to do it better. So yeah. Next time, I don't doubt this will be more Rogan-esque. We'll have a nice Rogan
Cool,
vibe going.
cool.
Let's see. Question real quick to wrap it up. I like to do like one little like kind of goofy questions. Just they're kind of funny. Get to know people a little bit. So one of them, and this is a tricky question, but I try to ask everybody because of your lifestyle. It might be tricky. So the game is called "Can you eat it while driving?" And I don't know if you eat and drive ever. If the answer is no, I'll just stop right here. But if you will once in a while,
Yeah, I
I'll
do.
ask the question.
Go ahead, shoot.
Okay, chicken nuggets.
Of
Can
course,
you eat them
yeah.
while driving?
Yeah.
So what's your strategy for sauce though? How do you
I feel
manage
like
the
sauce
sauce
is in my
game?
lap. I really don't care about my pants. It's like grab a napkin. I mean, yeah. So or on the dash sometimes, but sauce is like probably on my lap, bag and then sauce. That's okay. I got one for you.
Okay, what pizza? Okay, yeah.
Would you
Ask me.
rather
Go
wear
ahead.
a helmet the rest of your life or a life jacket the rest of your life?
Every moment
For
of the day.
the rest of the time.
I'd probably go if the thickness of the helmet wasn't obnoxious, like if it wasn't mountain climbing thick or motorcycle, if it was kind of
Mm-hmm.
just like over the top, maybe could block out some, had some aluminum in it so I could keep the government out of my head. I'd probably go with the
Okay,
helmet,
smart
honestly.
choice, I guess.
What about you? What would you
Probably
what would you do?
helmet. Yeah, just it fits with the skateboard and yeah.
Because I just feel like in the vest would like just
If
kind of get in
I
your way.
if I
It'd be
could throw
like
a
you gained
sweatshirt on it
weight.
and live like up in Canada all year round, I'd probably go life jacket. But no, summer you'd go helmet and try and ride a board everywhere or have a scooter where you went. I would think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good question. All right, and here's another one because
Shoot.
this is weird because the way you're living life. But if you could blow $1 million, like you have to spend it, you can't just save it. Like how would you just blow $1 million?
Probably buy some land and then give it away. I would think. I'd buy a bunch of building material and I could build a good house for 400,000. Probably give it away.
But what would be like the fun thing you would do? Like if you're living your life, like
Well,
the van life,
it's
and
not
someone's just like,
blowing
hey, you have like
money.
24 hours to blow this $1 million.
It would be buying enough material to build a house, buy a boat, snowboard, buy the things that I could buy once for the rest of my life, and then not have to buy it all, and then anything left, give it away, I guess.
Okay, that's way too
Well,
generous
it's just
and
time
nice of you. I
management.
was hoping
Who
you
the
had
heck
like a.
gets off? I mean, I know a lot of people get off just blowing money to blow money, but that's not what we should strive for as a human race. That doesn't make any sense. You're just giving it to someone else. What the heck?
I just
What would,
there was this movie I watched a long time ago called Brewster's Millions, and it was. Have you ever seen
nope.
that? It was they gave this guy he had to spend $1 million in like 30 days, and if he did, he got $10 million. So, but he couldn't own anything at the end of the 30 days. Like he had to have
Oh,
burnt through it all. And I've always thought that was an interesting concept of like how do you rip through that much money? Because even if your thought is to like and you can't just donate
You
it. That
had
was
to
like you
spend
had to
it,
like
man. Like
make
probably like
purchases, but they couldn't be things you
strippers
own.
and
Yeah,
cocaine. Then I
it's an awesome
guess.
movie.
No, no. Is that?
You know what? I think that would work. I think that meets
What
the
would you do?
criteria. What do you? You know, it's funny. No one ever asks me back, but probably,
I mean,
definitely, probably fly somewhere
and
difficult to get
then
to
and then
that you need a
and
lot
then
of
just
money to get
nonstop
to.
margs after that. Just just the most expensive.
Nonstop
It's
marks.
just,
Yeah, I probably. You know, it'd be fun to do that to waste money on is if you had, just like private jet and say, I want to fly until the meters like run out. Basically, like I got a
that
million bucks.
sounds.
Just keep
Air
taking me
travel is
places
awful, dude.
until
What are you
there's
talking
until
about?
I've burned. I love flying. I grew up the son of an aviation guy, so
Okay.
I flew a lot growing up. So that was always
I mean,
something
if you
I
had stopped,
enjoyed.
yeah,
I've
it'd
always
be
enjoyed
good. But
flying, but yeah,
nonstop
I'd
on a
probably do something
plane,
like that.
like, come on.
No, 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 no. It would be like, yeah, like let's fly to
Mhm.
Tokyo, hang out for 2 or 3 days, and then let's fly to Germany just because we're bored. Like I don't know, just to see, yeah,
Yeah,
just to
yeah,
rip through the
that would be
cash.
that would be
Probably
the
like
most
that's
efficient
that's
way to
probably what
rip
I
through
do.
cash, I guess. Next to strippers and cocaine, I guess. Yeah, that would be the
That
most.
would
That'd be
rip.
the most efficient.
Yeah, well, you could actually, if you
It'd be a
combine
good
the two of
time.
those,
Yeah.
I think it actually
Let me
would be
know
maybe the
when you
most
set that
efficient
up,
way.
because
Yeah,
I'm
to do
down.
that. I'll hit up Mr. Beast and see if he'll sponsor
Cool,
something like
cool.
this because that'd
That'd
be
be
a lot of
great.
fun.
Cool.
Any other
Um.
funny questions you had for
Okay.
me?
Would you rather have to wear a life jacket the rest of your life, or bottom half of you gets turned into a jet ski, and
I feel like you really
you are
want me to wear a
a
life raft.
centaur jet ski?
Does my digestive system work
I
the
would,
same way
yeah,
as
yeah,
as
yeah,
a
yeah.
jet ski
But no,
person?
I guess you don't have to worry about it. I don't know. Probably at your weight. Yeah, yeah, it would work. I guess.
So I kind of need a custom built house with all waterways so I can like live a normal life and like a vehicle that I could drive
But
into
but
that
if you
has like
can't,
hand
but
controls
if you can't
only.
afford that, then it's like, would you just go with the life jacket?
Let's assume if I'm living a life that's half jet
Do you
ski, I
think
got some cash
you would
to spend,
monetize
right?
that? That's
So,
good.
so if, I mean, no one else would say they ever did that. And while a lot of elements of your life would be rough, I mean, you'd probably get on Oprah at least once, maybe like a 60-minute
Once
special on you. Be the first stand-up comedian with jet ski legs. Like, it's a lot of maintenance because you're like you have to have some sort of way to travel.
Yeah,
Like,
you'd
you
have to be
can't just like walk
trailered
into
everywhere.
a bar. You have to like jet
Yeah.
ski into. You gotta get trailered everywhere, dude. Yeah, so you know
Nice.
what? I'm gonna go
I'd
with
go with
that.
jet
I
ski
think that would
too.
be a hell of an experience
Yeah.
if like
Yeah.
yeah, I mean if there's a prototype out there, if Elon Musk's like
Nice.
looking for a volunteer on that, sure,
Helmet
why
or
not?
bottom
Let's do
half
it.
of you motorcycle.
Jet ski humans. I think wait,
Helmet
say
the
it
rest of
again?
your life, or bottom half of you a motorcycle the rest of your life. Centaur motorcycle.
You know the jet ski got
Did
me
it?
more
So I should
excited
ask that
for
first,
some
and
reason.
then
I know the motorcycle though.
so in my stand-up career, I should ask motorcycle and then
I
jet ski
whew.
question.
Jet ski really had me kind of interested. Motorcycle, though, for some reason, I'm thinking it's loud. I'm thinking
Mm,
fumes all the time.
yeah.
Just like everyone knows when you show up because it's just like
Well, jet ski's just as
you're
loud.
just like like ruining everyone's. In my mind, it's not, but I don't see one as often, so I'm just ignoring that. So you're right. I don't know. I might take the life vest over the motorcycle, but I would take the jet ski over the life vest.
Okay.
I don't know
I'd
why.
go
What about
helmet
you?
before I turn myself into a motorcycle. At that. Yeah.
Okay, well, it was helmet or yeah. Either way, it just
Yeah.
not
No
motorcycle.
one wants to be a
Vest or helmet,
motorcycle.
either one would be
Yeah.
totally fine with me.
Even a horse. No one wants to be
Yeah,
a
that's really
centaur.
wow.
That would
That's
also suck.
yeah. No, if I could have my dream bottom half that wasn't legs, maybe like wheels. would be kind of cool. Like a
Mm.
unicycle type of situation would
Just
be
a
kind
one
of
wheel
sick.
that you could, just a
I
one wheel that
think
you could whip around.
it all comes back to the
I don't
one
have to
wheel.
walk
Yeah,
anywhere,
if I
dude.
had a
I
one
just
wheel
hop on my
setup.
board and float there. I don't have to get any exercise if I don't want to, you know. It's madness. It's
Yeah,
madness. Peak
yeah,
laziness, dude.
dude. This is a peak laziness, dude. I love that, man. Appreciate you being like
I,
really straight up with me, and
sweet.
we'll do this again,
Sweet.
man. I'll I I enjoy it, John. It was really cool. I'm gonna end the recording real
Okay,
quick,
cool.
and then we'll talk for a second. All right, dude. But thanks again
Yeah, I'll
for
stay on.
coming on, and I appreciate it, bro.